Live from the Kansas Coliseum in Wichita, the Central Division Finals. The Wichita Wings host the Houston Summit in the first of a three-game series. The Major Indoor Soccer League Game of the Week is brought to you by Light Beer. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. Good evening, everybody. Al Troutwig along with Kyle Rote Jr. from the Kansas Coliseum. This promises to be a beauty. The Wichita Wings finishing the season at 16-0, and the Houston Summit finishing out on top of the Central Division at 20-12. Wichita and Houston have played some tight games, Kyle.
They've had some great games. Houston this year trying to do better than they did last year. Led the regular season last year with an 18-6 record. Lost to Philadelphia early in the playoffs. Want to do better this year. Wichita, on the other hand, the only expansion franchise in the league left in the playoffs, and they've had a tremendous competition between the two teams. They've played 4 games, and in 3 of those games there have been overtime. And in 3 of those games, the score has been 6-5. In the first, played at Houston, Kai Hoskevy had a hat trick for Houston as Houston won 6-5. Back here at Wichita on the 23rd of January, El Indio Gomez played his first game for Wichita, had 2 goals for the hometown team as they beat Houston 6-5. Then back at Houston again, another 6-5 result. And finally, back at Wichita, Wichita winning in overtime 9-8. Wichita behind by 4 goals going into the last period, came up with 4 straight, and they were able to win the game in overtime 9-8.
Well, we saw Omar Gomez become a hero just seconds ago, and on both ends of the field, we're going to see some good scorers on both teams.
Tremendous scorers. Kai Hoskevy of Houston, the Finnish international player, has 15 man-advantage goals this year and is the person they look to be the point man, the man to take players on one-on-one. On the other hand, for Wichita, Omar El Indio Gomez, originally from Quilmes in Argentina, led his team from the 3rd division to the 1st division, has really added the Latin flavor to this team and has scored at an average of about 1.5 goals a game since he's joined this club.
And he's only played 18 games. Now at both ends of the field, 200 feet apart, 2 very superb indoor soccer goalkeepers.
Well, we have Mick Poole from Houston, who was the 2nd most valuable player in the All-Star game, has not really played since. He's had muscle spasms in his back. At the other end of the field, a courageous young man, Keith Van Aaron, who didn't start this year. Mike Ivanhoe was their original goalkeeper, but when he went out with surgery, Van Aaron has come in, and importantly, he's gained the confidence of his defenders.
This is the first of a 3-game series, actually 2. Following the 2 games, if it's tied 1-1, they'll play a 15-minute mini game, and that's a tough way to decide it as both these teams wait to find out who's going to represent the Atlantic Division, Pittsburgh or New York, and it's going to be a good one, I'm sure of it.
It really will. If history is any indication, overtime is not just a possibility but a probability, and these teams both have players that have played with one another before. Indeed, the 2 coaches, Roy Turner and Kenny Cooper, were former teammates, so there's a tremendous sense of friendliness but also competition between the teams.
They're expecting a full house here at the Kansas Coliseum. Krazy George will be on hand to keep the fans alive. We're set for a good time, and we'll have the start of tonight's game right after this. We're back on. It'll be the Houston Summit wearing their road whites with maroon shorts and orange trim. Mick Poole will defend the goal to our right-hand side. Off to our left, the Wichita Wings, the home team tonight, wearing orange with blue and yellow trim. Their goaltender, Keith Van Aaron, who played not so long ago for Hartwick College. Kai Hoskevy, one of the players that Kyle and I spoke about at the Open. He'll be one of the big scorers in tonight's game and someone that you'll want to watch. He'll take it into the corners. He's a rough physical player. There's the Wichita goalkeeper, Keith Van Aaron. He's been having a super year, Kyle. In this game, he's really adapted to very, very well.
Yes, he has, as you hear the fans here at the Kansas Coliseum on their feet at the start of the game, which is the way they ended last game, on their feet. They've learned to expect the exciting from the Wichita Wings, and they All-Star game, and they have a lot of respect for him. And Cooper felt that because of that, they might just try to get too perfect a shot before they took shots tonight.
2 blasts by George Lay. Here's another drive by Cooley. The rebound settled by Piper. 25 seconds in the Wichita power play. George Lay on the far boards. This is Norm Piper, sends it into the corner. Jimmy Ryan settles it down. Looks for George Lay again. Here's the rebound. Cooley, the drive, goal!
Ball on the far post. Cooley a half volley. Here it is. Lay in the corner, plays it off the boards. It comes to the weak side. Cooley with a side foot. underneath the diving arms of Mick Poole and the stretched out foot of Jim Callahan. Wichita's taken a 1-0 lead here, not 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the first quarter.
So the first penalty of this game really hurts. He can throw it just shy of the third line in the air. If it goes over all three lines in the air, it would be an offside pass and come all the way back to his own red line. Or he can kick it on the ground and go the length of the field. Here's a Houston goal by Dale Russell, and it's blasted in right underneath Keith Van Aaron. We've got a 1-1 game, and the crowd is very quiet.
Looks like a horrible mistake by Wichita, but it wasn't. It was just a precision play by Houston as Hoskeby played the ball off the walls to a breaking Dale Russell, who had position on his defender. Russell, first-time shot, similar to the situation in basketball where you've got a tall center and they're fronting him on defense and they loft the ball over the top, using that space behind the defender. Hoskeby playing the ball against the wall, and Houston is back even at his former teammate at Hartwick College, both All-Americans there.
Meyernick drops it back in his own defensive third, now up to the midfield line. Push back, here's Norm Piper. Piper looks to get it inside the Houston zone. He's tackled off the play. Here's a break. Loose in the box. Goal!
The madhouse, Piper in front, the ball bounces out. Anderson comes across, tries to do the sliding tackle. Not the prettiest goal, but these people here at the Kansas Coliseum couldn't care less because it puts the Wichita wins up 2-1. As Wichita makes a few changes with possession.
Here's Frank Barton, 2-1. The Wings lead it. Barton back on the return. A rebound in front. Chapman is there. A drive and a goal.
Kevin Cooley, his second goal of the night. The ball's in the corner. It bounces back off the knee of Danny Gurley, up in the air. A side volley for Kevin Cooley. At 51 seconds of the second period. Here's another shot at it. Cooley with the ball. He plays it across. Barton off the backboards, into the middle, and there's Cooley. Off the inside of the post. Tremendous shot past the diving Mick Poole.
Frank Barton gets the assist. Kevin Cooley the goal at 51 seconds. It's 3-1 Wichita. The place time it's not in effect is when you're down 2 men and you kick it over the 3 lines. 2:25 to go. Here's Hoskeby. We've got 40 seconds in the Houston power play. Stremlau, Hoskeby, the drive, goal. Houston goal.
Well, there's the reason why Kai Hoskeby has led the league in power play goals. Tremendous sense of rhythm by this Houston team. Ball is held by Stremlau. He waits and forces the Wichita players to commit. Hoskeby moving into the top of the arc. Hits that shot low and hard and wide of Keith Van Aaron. And it brings Houston back within 1. With 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first period, it's Wichita 3 and Houston game. Houston has as well. Houston being given the first round bye to allow Wichita and Detroit to decide who would go into the semifinals of the MISL playoffs.
Now, there's something we should talk about later, maybe the layoff, and the good things about it and the bad things about it. Now, Mick Poole up to the midfield line for Krauthausen, and the buzzer sounds. 30 minutes of indoor soccer has been completed here at the Kansas Coliseum. And at the end of the first half, the score is Wichita 3 and Houston 2. We'll be back in just a moment. Cooley again. This man's having a great playoff series. It was 3-1 Wichita, and then a power play goal by Kai Hoskeby made it 3-2. As the fun continues here at halftime, it's 3-2 Wichita. Before the game, Kyle Rote spoke with Sepp Gantenhammer, a New York boy. Now let's go to that interview now.
We're back at halftime at the Kansas Coliseum, and our halftime guest, star goalkeeper of the Houston Summit team that you're not seeing playing tonight, at least in the first half, Sepp Gantenhammer. Sepp this year has had a tremendous season, led the whole major indoor soccer league in goals against average with 4.42, was only one of 2 goalkeepers, along with Alan Mayer, to have less than a 5 goals against average per game, and yet he didn't start tonight's game. And there's a reason for that. Mick Poole, who's had a tremendous year. But Sepp Gantenhammer also made the record books. One of 5 goalkeepers in the history of indoor soccer to record a shutout. Tell us about it. How did it happen? Who was it against?
Well, it was last week against Cleveland, and wasn't really just my shutout, it was the team's shutout. The team played really well. I had a good day myself, but the team was supporting me and they were behind me. And more or less it was everybody's shutout. It wasn't just the goalkeeper shutout, but I'll probably get all the glory for having the shutout.
Well, your name will be in the record books, but it's it's a great thing. Former All-American at Long Island University, grew up in Queens, one of the boroughs of New York. Never thought that you would get into pros, or is this something that you expected?
Well, going through college, as my college career progressed, more and more I hope to make the pros. And in my senior year, I figured I had a good shot of making the pros, or at least getting drafted for the pros. But, you know, like everybody else, once you get into the pros, it's a big transaction from the pros from college into the pros. And it's taken me now almost 3 years, and finally I'm coming along. And I think a lot has to do with my coach this year, Kenny Cooper. He's really done a lot for me.
I was talking to Kenny before the game about how you were handling emotionally, not starting, because you've played at least the last 6 or 7 games straight. You've had just done a super job, and yet we're in the playoffs. Mick Poole, not having played really since the All-Star break, maybe half a game against Philadelphia, but not very much. He's very proud of your maturity, and you're not that old. You must have a special relationship with both Mick and with Kenny.
Yeah, well, the three of us have been working pretty closely through the season, and I guess that's the reason why if I play or if Mick plays, we've both done a pretty good job. I've been mentally prepared most of the season if I had to go in, which has happened on many occasions, which does happen in the indoor more than the outdoor. So more or less, I'm not starting tonight, but I may start the next game, so I just be prepared, and maybe I'll go in the second half. You never know.
Which is just the way Kenny Cooper looked at his career, always ready, made all the preparations and practice. Last year you played with Pittsburgh,
yeah.
And this year you started in Hartford, went through New York, finally came down to Houston, and had a tremendous year. How do you compare the Houston franchise with that of say, Pittsburgh in terms of how the coach handles his goalkeepers?
Well, last year in Pittsburgh, it was the first year for the franchise and for the coach. We had a high school coach, and he was learning just as well as the players were learning. So he kind of experimented with the goalkeepers, which hurt me in a big way, because to really be consistent, you have to play. And if you don't play enough, you can't be consistent.
Well, we're so pleased that you've had a chance to play this year and to show people your skill. And once again, the traits and characteristics that you apparently have just as a person are going to make you a great goalkeeper. And we look forward to seeing you entertain not only our great soccer fans, but all the fans of indoor soccer all over this country. Sepp Gottenhammer, thank you for visiting with us. All the best of luck to you next year. Maybe you'll get with a team that doesn't have Mick Poole, so you can play a full season. But once again, congratulations on the shutout and also on leading the league in goals against average. We'll be back with more halftime activities right after this. And Krazy George.
Al Trawick here on the field, and this man has a proven fact that you can definitely enjoy your job. This is Krazy George Henderson, as if you didn't know. George,
All right.
they've got a full house on hand for you here tonight. What are you going to do to keep the fans on top of things?
We're going to cheat a lot and win. What do you think of that one?
Whatever you say, really. Your career has been up and down. You've been into stadiums in many different ways. What are some of the ways that didn't go exactly the way that you had planned?
I came in a hang glider once. It came down, I hit the goalpost. It hurt.
And then what?
And then I came in with a lion once. Oh, lion, what did he do? He attacked the trainer, and I had to pull the lion off the trainer. Blood everywhere.
And you have stitches to show for this, don't you?
You're not kidding. 3 stitches right there. Look at those
Right
stitches.
here. These are the stitches. Now, you're losing all your hair. Is that because you're a hyper guy?
No, I'm sexy looking.
One thing I really like is guys that are laid back. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I know.
What else are you keeping busy with these days?
Oh, geez, I'm doing, what is it called? I'm doing something. Oh, the Nuggets. Nuggets basketball in Denver.
And what else are you famous for? You made Sports Illustrated. That didn't hurt your career any, did
Oh,
it?
no, Sports Illustrated helped a lot. Except they put that chicken in there.
Well, you know.
I'm better looking than him.
That was a foul ball they threw you, know what I mean?
You're not kidding.
How did you get started in all this?
Well, I used to be a school teacher. Oh, they drove me crazy. Those kids just warped my little brain.
Are those kids still normal or what?
No, I really goofed them up, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you think about the game tonight? Houston?
The game! Chill! We're going to destroy them. Get that one.
Any players you're going to pick on tonight? Who's ugly out there and who's good looking?
The whole Houston team is ugly. They got pimples. Big ugly pimples and funny looking ears.
Anything you want to say out there to the people across this country and TV land that you might be coming to their town one day?
I might be coming to your town. Yes, it's going to be fun.
What about the rest of the year?
The rest of the year I'm going to be, well, we only have the one more game here, then it goes to Houston. We're going to beat you in Houston, too, because we're mean and we cheat a lot.
Well, I wish this guy was on my side, that's for sure. This is Crazy George Henderson. He's all over the place. The Nuggets, the Wings, you name it. He has a great time and he enjoys his job. We'll be back right after this.
Bye, everybody.
Kick-in line right there. That's 3 feet in from the boards, and that goes around the entire surface. Here's Jim Pollahan for the Summit. Pollahan played for the defending champion Arrows last year, and this year he finds himself in a Houston uniform. Myernick in front, right through the crease, and it goes in. A little bit of a mix-up, and Houston ties the game 3-3. They've got the equalizer.
Well, I think they'll give the credit to Morreale, but it was more a defensive mistake, it appeared, as the ball was hit by Mooch Myernick. Glenn Myernick passed Von Aaron, his former teammate in college. But they should give it to Morreale. He was the closest man to the ball. And they do. The official score has now told us Morreale with the goal. And it makes the score, the Wichita Wings 3 in the Summit.
Van Aaron came way out and committed himself, and it paid off. Here's Gomez. A drive by Cooley, and it's in.
Kevin Cooley with the hat trick. Here's the pass from Gomez. Cooley will wind up, but he'll hit it low through the legs. Poole tries to kick it out, but he can't get to it. Here's it is from the end zone. Put it under the legs of Danny Gearley. There are the fans in Wichita. They love to see their hometown Wings score goals.
He dishes it outside for Morreale. Both teams are at even strength. No power plays are in effect right now. Morreale a drive, the rebound, set in front, and a goal for Houston. Nick Mangione beating Keith Van Aaron, who was down, and it's 4-4.
There's Morreale's shot. It goes wide off the boards. Here's the first shot. It will also go wide off the boards, but he stays with it. Ball comes back to Mangione. He settles it, and then he lifts it up above Van Aaron into the...
Ferocious defense being applied by both teams. And, well, you'd have to. At the red line, here's Stewart jump. Jump, cuts left, moving free. A drive, goal!
Stewart jump! Has done it for Houston. As they win the opening game of the semifinals. Jump, puts the ball in his left foot, hits it to the far post. Keith Van Aaron, the man on the floor. Here's another great view by our camera crew. Van Aaron, what a great game for Wichita. The fans are giving their hometown team a standing ovation. Mickey Poole under so much pressure all night long.
Kyle, look what's happening up here in the stands. Absolute bedlam. They're dropping confetti, balloons. Luckily, we haven't been hit yet. Give Houston the one-game lead as these two teams
Jim
now go to
Pollahan
Houston.
and Ian Anderson, excuse me.
Well, there's a very happy Houston team. They felt the pressure. They felt that they were down, and they felt the pressure of not collapsing like they did last year. They trailed 1-0. They trailed 2-1. They trailed 3-1, 3-2, and 4-3. And they came back each and every time. Poise, determination, and everything else by Kai Hoskovy and Stewart Jump. And there you see it, the final in overtime. Houston disappointed.